Well, good afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about force and gravity. A force is any push or a pull. And what we're discussing here then is if you push on an object, let's say I have a glass, and if you push on it, you have to apply a force. Likewise, if you pull on it, all right, you're also applying a force. Why? Because it's causing a resting object to move, or betterwise worded as accelerate. It can't a force can accelerate a moving object by changing the object's speed or direction. So if you're driving down the road and you're going 55 miles per hour and you change and you're now going 62 miles per hour, there had to be some type of force, whether it's a push or a pull, that caused that change in speed. If you turn the steering wheel, your tires are applying a force, which is what allows to the road, which allows you to change direction. The SI unit for force is the Newton, and that's what we're saying right here. Then is that the Newton is the unit. So we would say force equals 4 newtons or 3 newtons, but that's what we would say for the units. This is sometimes a hard concept for students to understand, but it's terminology. It's just understanding vocabulary. A balanced force. For example, when you're sitting at your seat, forces are balanced. You have the seat there, and you're sitting on it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. You have your weight that's pushing down, but the seat is pushing up, and it's a net force that is balanced. It's what we say is the net force is zero because there is no change in the object's motion. If you're sitting there, you're not going down, you're not going up, you're not going forward. There is no change when there's balanced forces. A net force, all right, let's say someone comes up to you then and pushes, they apply a force there on the chair, and then you fall forward. All right, it's causing an object to accelerate. It's what we say there was a net force. It's unbalanced because there was no force to counteract the force that was pushed on the back of your chair. Newton's first law of motion, called the law of inertia. Now, that's a pretty important thing right there. You're going to see that in your assignment today. I'll tell you that right now. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. An object in motion tends to stay in motion unless another force acts upon it. Your car, you start driving down the road, it's going to tend to stay in motion for the most part, especially if we could eliminate air friction. If we could eliminate air friction, your car would keep going. The nice thing that we can talk about then is in outer space, we get a rocket that's going. Well, once we get it going, they cut off the engine. Why? Because an object in motion tends to stay in motion. In outer space, once we get it moving and there's no friction, then there's nothing that's going to stop it from moving. It's going to keep going. It would take another force. Something would have to push on it or pull on it to get it to stop. Let's talk about inertia. Things that have inertia. Elephants have lots of inertia. All right. Elephants, rhinos, tanks, all of these have lots of inertia. Why? Because they have lots of mass. All right. An elephant has a lot more inertia than a mouse. Well, what does inertia mean? Inertia, it goes back to Newton's first law. The more inertia you have, the more these two rules are in effect. An elephant, once you get an elephant moving, it's a whole lot harder to get that elephant to stop moving. All right. An elephant has more inertia. A mouse can stop on a dime. That's why they zigzag. An alligator is typically anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 pounds. A person is anywhere from 100 to 200 pounds typically. An alligator has a lot more inertia. So You got an alligator, let's say, out here. And you got to get away from the alligator. So you got the green alligator here. Here's the alligator. All right, there's the alligator's mouth. I know, it's a great drawing. And over here we got a person. The alligator can run about 30 miles an hour for a short distance. A human can only run at top speed. The best athletes can run about 20 mile an hour. So the alligator will catch the human. Unless, this is where inertia comes in. The alligator starts running at him in this direction. Its inertia wants to make him keep going in this direction. So if the human runs and then zigzags, the alligator is going to struggle to be able to make that turn. What you don't want to do then is zigzag back into the alligator. Crunch, that would hurt. All right, Newton's second law. A net force acting on an object causes that object to accelerate in the direction of the force. What this comes down to is an equation called F equals ma. If we apply a force to a mass, it causes that mass to accelerate. And that's what this is saying. Newton's second law is essentially what I just said. A force applied to a mass causes that mass to accelerate. Let's look at our examples here. A 2-kilogram rabbit. So I just gave you the mass. Accelerates at 3 meters per second squared. What is the force needed? Well, F equals ma. So it's 2 times 3. The force equals 6 newtons. All right, I want you to find this one. I'm going to give you a little hint. If you're paying attention, this right here is the force. That right there is the mass. We'll find out who's listening to music. And then I also want you to go ahead and answer these Newton's first law questions. Hey, I'll catch you on the flip side.